Hello and welcome back to another episode of LP Gaming. This will be a bit of a shorter episode. One, because my past couple of videos have been kind of long. Two, because I'm currently top 60 global, and if I record a video with some gameplay, it'll just be me losing a couple of battles, which not as fun to record, not as fun to watch. So this one is going to be a bit of like a tech video. I've seen a lot of people just place their executioners wrong, and I want to make a little quick tech video to show how to place them correctly. Also, ignore the time of 9:41 a.m. on Tuesday, January 9th there. I learned that's a special quirk of Apple whenever you're using demo mode or whatever. But yeah, it's not January 9th. Anyways, let's get right into it. Also, I'm not a pro with an Apple Pencil, so excuse my poor drawing. But let's assume we have our executioner. What's a good color? Blue. There we go. Let's assume we have our executioner right here, which is the default tile you should be placing your executioner. I see a lot of people placing it right here on the bottom right, which is wrong. Bottom middle, which is also wrong. Bottom left, which is also wrong. And 99% of the time, you are not placing your executioner in the absolute back rank. There might be a couple of cases, but 99% of the time. We start right here. Default tile. This is the default executioner spot. And there's a reason for this. And to show you, I'm going to put some villain troops, which I'm using red for those. And this will be a typical 6-troop configuration. Maybe if you're facing a Lung, they have a 7th troop right there. Or, I don't know, a 7th troop right there. But anyways, let's say they have the typical configuration like this. And if you're playing a comp with 3 frontline units, 3 backline units, this is something you'll see fairly often. As an example, consider this to be a full clan build, where say you have Barb here, Volk there, say you have an AQ there, and then say you have a Wizard there, and then, I don't know, you have Dart Goblin, and then Spear Goblin. And this is, if you're playing clan, this is a very typical configuration. Now, what's very nice about this particular tile for the executioner is that once it reaches 2 stars or higher, the executioner is going to go for the Barb. But when it goes for the Barb, it's actually going to hit the Spear Goblin right there, which is very useful. One of the most important things with Executioner is hitting those backline units. It's how you get the most value out of your troop. Importantly, your Executioner has to be at least 2 stars for this to work, and it should have the Blaster trait. So if you don't have either of those, it's time to get them. I really don't recommend playing Executioner at 1 star because you're not able to snipe backline units like that. You really need 2-star Executioner with the Blaster trait. So anyways, it'll go for the Barb, and then it'll snipe the Spear Goblin in the back. And that's very good because you're sniping backline units. After it's done, it's going to go for the Valkyrie. And when it goes for the Valkyrie, it'll hit the Dart Goblin. And that's also very useful. And say you're playing something like full Brawlers, and that's a comp that uses the Executioner. Or you're using Double Giant with Monk and Exy, and then say Dart and Spear Goblin, or Archer Queen and Wizard. So whatever you have it, you'll have some troops say here, 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 here. You might have 4 frontline troops, or if you don't have 4, you might have 1, 2, 3 frontline troops. And these 2 right here and right here are important for the enemy troops to stay in place, so your executioner is able to get that value against those backline troops. So this is like a level 1. And if you're playing at mid ladder, or I would say anything diamond or below, and even going into diamond, this is pretty much good enough. You can just slap your executioner on this all-important tile right there and let it get infinite value. However, once you reach higher diamond, it's not that easy. I'm going to erase this, and then let's just erase all these. Your opponents are aware of this executioner tile placement, and especially once you have a 2-star monk or 2-star executioner higher, they're going to start moving their troops. And the first thing, and this is something that I do, is they'll shift all their troops 1 tile to the left. So instead, they're going to put their troops here, here, and here. And if you notice the current executioner placement, it'll go for that, it'll go for that, and it'll get exactly 0 value. And that's not at all what you want. And there is a couple ways to counter this particular placement. One of those ways, well, pretty much all the ways involve moving the executioner. And you can move it to a couple places depending on what you want to snipe. You can move your Xe here, and then it'll snipe that unit back there, which may be useful. You can also move your executioner to this particular tile, in which case it'll snipe that unit back there. So there's a lot of mind games going on, because a lot of top ladder opponents, they'll sort of move things last minute, and you can't really predict that, so you're kind of guessing as to what the best executioner tile placement is. Anywhere, like I said, 3,000-ish and below, just put your executioner right there and just call it a day. But if you're playing top ladder, you will need to be aware of these things. One other thing I would like to note is if your opponent has more than 3 frontline troops, say they have here, or I'll use red. Say they have troops here, 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 which is totally possible if they're playing something like full Brutalist or full Brawler. Then you have the option of placing your executioner right here, and that'll snipe that backline troop and that backline troop. So if your opponent is, say, playing full Brutalist and they chuck their skeleton dragon back there, it's going to get sniped by the executioner. And this is the kind of tech you want to look for. So I guess in sum, your executioner should rarely be going back here. Like, the only time you do it is if you're looking to snipe this particular troop right there. And otherwise, I wouldn't put it back there. There is one other point I'd like to note, and that's if I mentioned here, and then it would be able to snipe the backline troops here and here. Let's say your opponent has a troop here that you really want to snipe. Let's say they have an executioner. You both have 2-star executioners. What you can do is place your own executioner either here or here, and from either position, you'll be able to snipe that troop. So if it's an executioner, you'll be able to snipe their executioner, but if you look at your own troops, you can only place them here and here, giving your opponent's Xe alignments like that and like that. So essentially, you can snipe their executioner, but they can't snipe yours, which is very nice. But that's only relevant if both people have 2-star executioners. Well, actually, this tile here will work with a 1-star. This tile back here is 2-star only. But it's very nice because you'll be able to snipe your opponent's executioner and they won't be able to snipe yours back, which can be very useful. Some other times, because in a lot of games executioner is one of the most contested cards, it's very possible for both of you to have executioners. And to make this a little bit more clear, let me go erase that and put a red star here. A red star right there. So in this case, both executioners actually see each other, and which one survives it's a matter of which executioner gets a critical hit, which one has a higher level, whether or not there's an ace trait in play, and if it's being applied to the executioner. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to mention for this video. If you are not, like, I would say top 10k plus, maybe even top 2,000 plus, literally just chuck your executioner right here, get it to 2 stars. I'm going to write it so you can see it in all its glory, because 2 stars is very important. A 1-star executioner is not particularly useful. Get it to 2 stars, chuck it right there, and call it a day. If you are playing at a higher level, then you can start thinking about these mind games as to, do I place it here or here or here? Do I place it here to snipe this troop or here to snipe that troop? There's a lot of different cool tech with executioner placement, and I play executioner a fair amount in my games, so if you watch some of my past videos, you'll be able to see exactly how I'm placing Executioner, which for the most part is really just on this tile because it's the best placement. So yeah, I hope this video helps. I guess it's not as fun as watching me play, or maybe it is fun for you to learn about this tech and become a better player at Merge Tactics. Alrighty, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.